yes, I'm being dreadful. How could we be careful when we ain't really careful? Therefore, all the youths need a good mentor. Yes, Lord. All the years this we endure, there's no cure. All the cops screaming 10 for what for? Government always trying to send, so we at war. Yeah, we black, but we really called Moors, born poor. All we care about is Jordan Concords, looting stores. Why you taking things that's not yours? All boy, that ain't no way yet on the George Floyd. Stay on point. Half America is really unemployed. We annoyed, killing people. It's a state of paranoia. Can't avoid it. All these businesses burned down and destroyed. No insurance. Think my people kinda missing what's important. Stand up for your rights. Yeah, we putting up a fight.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, people, and happy Thursday.
Closer to the weekend, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing good. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. Our sister Rebecca Azor will be joining us momentarily. Hello to everyone in the chat room. Be sure to hit that like, that share, and that subscribe button so that you can get notified every time we go live. James, you about to get that vaccine, man?
Bro, I think so. They didn't open up a whole nother section now in Georgia. So the section that opened up, the overweight and obese, my hefty ass is going to get the vaccine, brother. Hey.
Look, man, like I told you, man, I'm going to take me and my stomach and put it right on the table. I'm like, let me get the shot. Let me go ahead and get this shot.
Let me get that shot, player.
It's time, man. I'm tired. Like, bro, I'm still counting days because, you know, we had to leave our bubble on Saturday to take Jeremiah to the emergency room.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, I was in there. I'm looking around. I'm scoping out. I'm spraying down stuff. So I've been counting the days, you know, trying to get past that first 5-10 days or whatever. I'm tired of having to do that count. I'm tired. Yeah. I'm ready to get back to some normalcy, man. I'm ready to get back to like just some life as usual. And you know, the crazy thing is like, they need to hurry up and just get these vaccines to everybody because most people, they're ready to go. And it sounds crazy. I know this is going to be the wildest thing I've said in a while, but I actually miss my commute to the office, to the studios and stuff. Like just that time in the car by yourself sometimes was, you know, you don't realize how much you miss it until you didn't have it for a whole year. So I'm looking forward to getting back to some normalcy. So so let me know when you're going, man. I might slide up in there right next to you, be like, this is my brother. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Anyway, so good morning to everybody. We want to take a look at a couple of news stories as we begin this morning. Of course, there's politics, there's presidential politics. There's also congressional politics that we need to cover. I want to begin, though, this morning with the fact that the $1.9 trillion stimulus package has been passed completely by the House of Representatives. On Wednesday, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. It included in the bill is the $300 a week unemployment benefits, a $3,000 tax credits to parents, and $1,400 checks to qualified Americans versus all Americans. The bill is the largest stimulus package in American history, with almost 70% of the tax breaks going to households making less than $91,000 a year. The legislation will now be sent to President Joe Biden's desk for signature. One of the things that stands out about this is the question of if Republicans were not going to sign on to this legislation in the first place, which they were not. Then why all of the last few weeks of negotiations? Someone pointed out on Twitter, who were they negotiating with if the Republicans were never going to sign it in the first place or vote for it in the first place? And that's a huge question because the negotiations actually took down the amount of unemployment benefits from $400 a week to $300. It took down the amount that every American would get from $2,000 to $1,400, and now it's qualified with means testing. And so the question still remains, who the hell are Democrats negotiating with? Now, that said, there are some good things in this bill. And as we stated yesterday, I called it. I promise you, like I'm a prophet if I'm nothing else. I told you that there would be Republicans who didn't vote for this, who absolutely would take credit for it. I want to talk about the Republican Senator Roger Wicker, Republican from Mississippi. He tweeted the following. After voting against the bill, he tweeted this. He said, independent restaurant operators have won $28.6 billion worth of targeted relief. This funding will ensure small businesses can survive the pandemic by helping to adapt their operations to keep their employees on the payroll. Now, this is the dude, James, that voted against the bill.
Right.
I thought it would take maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month before Republicans started taking credit for something that they were not going to support or that they did not support. But here he is the very same day that the legislation passed the House of Representatives, a Republican taking credit for it. An aide to Wicker told Newsweek on Wednesday that Senator Wicker, quote, Senator Wicker has supported targeted relief for restaurants from the very beginning. He was not able to support the $2 trillion poorly targeted spending as was proposed by congressional Democrats. He will continue working to advance targeted relief for restaurants and other groups that have been hit hard by the pandemic. I called it, man. Like, I don't want to be like pat myself on the back too much, but Lord Jesus, I did not expect these clowns to do it the very next day, James. They have absolutely no shame, man. None whatsoever.
No time, dude. No time. Now you gonna vote against the bill, but get up there and like, yeah, we did a great thing. You shut the hell up. You stupid.
Please. And here's the thing. Like, if you couple this with the fact that Democrats are not touting the good parts, because as much as upset as I am about the $15 an hour, and we should be, as upset as we are about taking it down from $2,000 to $1,400 and then means testing it, basically cutting out about 12 million Americans, we should be upset about that. But there are some decent things in this bill. And unfortunately, the American people, we have been beat down so much that it's almost like we'll take whatever we can get just so that we can survive till the next week. That said, the Democrats aren't really even touting the important stuff in here that's good. While now you see the first Republican came out and talked about how this is a win for his constituents. And I guarantee you across the country, you're going to have Republicans repeating this over and over again, because if there's money going out, they know how to take credit for it. And the Democrats apparently don't. And so this does not bode well. This doesn't bode well for 2022. The Democrats have to come out really hard on this, swinging, even though, again, I can't talk positively about the bill without actually pointing out all of the places where Democrats actually failed. But at the same time, these clown-ass Republicans, these Republicans are absolutely shameless with their hypocrisy. They voted against this. They did not want you to get $1,400, let alone $2,000. They sure as hell were not going to support $15 an hour minimum wage. They didn't have to worry about that part because they had 8 Democrats take care of that for them this time around. There was nothing that Republicans were willing to actually do to help the American people. But now you see the first Republican stepping out there, taking credit for it, despite the fact that if it was left up to them, we would not be getting a single dime from the government, a full year into this pandemic, and they're still voting against us getting some relief. It's absolutely asinine.
I just don't get it, man. I really don't understand it. It's just like, who are y'all talking to about these things? They're playing games, bro.
They're playing games.
They really are. And I'm just like, I'm happy to receive this $1,400 because it's going to help pay a bill or something. But, when that's gone in a couple of days, then what am I going to do next? Because that's why y'all trying to hurry up and open back up and get all the vaccines out, right?
Right.
But even still, once the vaccines are out, it's still going to be some time before we get back to normal. Come on, man. Y'all got to do better, bro. Y'all got to do so much better.
Bro, this is the thing. Like, when I say they playing with us, they really are playing a game of what's the bare minimum we can give the people to keep the people from tearing this place apart, right? Because, there's nothing like having hungry children to push someone into the streets. Right. Their inability to have a house over their head because of this pandemic. And while you're seeing billionaires getting even richer, you see politicians playing games. Like, that's the recipe for a revolution. This week marks the anniversary of the February Revolution, which actually took place in March because of the difference in calendars in Russia at the time. But one of the number one catalysts for revolution was the fact that their children were hungry, right? It was the fact that the mothers told the men at that time, do something about it, because their children, their bellies were empty and they were starving. And that is the recipe for actual factual revolution. And what our politicians, both parties, the ruling elite, the top 1% have figured out is that, one, they demoralize us, right? Yeah. They break our spirit over and over and over again, such to the point where if there's anything wrong, we automatically look at ourselves instead of the system that's benefiting off of us, right? Mm-hmm. So they've broken us down. They've gotten us to a place as Americans where we'll basically take anything they give us so long as they give us something. And that's what this bill is. It's just something. Because like you said, James, that $1,400, for a lot of people, that's gone because they're in the overdraft by like $800-900.
Yeah.
And so by them just giving us this pittance, it's like, okay, people are like, okay, whew, I got a little bit of relief. But the real relief is being sent to all of these corporations, all of these businesses. Like, they are the ones who are getting the real relief, while average American families are struggling. And so that's why they're playing a game. But James, they're also playing with fire, because I don't know how long people can actually put up with this much longer. But hell, we've been in it for a year, so maybe they know better than we do. Maybe the people are just going to keep putting up with the government not doing what they're supposed to do. I don't know, man. But it still remains to be seen. The good news is that the legislation will be signed on Friday by President, I almost said President Obama.
Obama, really?
by President Biden. It will be signed into law, and those stimulus checks will start going out. And we'll see what happens after that. But this, I got a feeling this is the last round of stimulus checks. I don't think there's going to be any more. I don't think there's going to be any more money for the people after this. What you think?
This is it, man. I really think this is it. And I just hope that, kind of part of me kind of thinks like, what would have happened if they would have decreased the stimulus some? Would the streets have rose up then and said, okay, now it's time to do something? Or would we have just sat content and dealt with this $600 that we got last year? Excuse me. But yeah, man, I really think this is it. This is not going to be any more money. I think that's it as well. It really sucks, dude.
Yeah. I want to shift gears and go to a little bit more coverage of what's happening across the pond. Now, I don't particularly care about the he said, she said of the Meghan Markle conversation, but what I am fascinated by is this attempt to rewrite British history. This attempt to make it seem as though they were not the original colonizers, as if they were not the ones who utilized white supremacy, divide and conquer tactics across the globe in order to dominate the globe where the sun never set on the British Empire. Nigel Farage, former Conservative member of Parliament in the UK and leader of the Brexit campaign, appeared on Newsmax, which is a United States-based right-wing propaganda outlet. He appeared on there on Wednesday evening to discuss Oprah Winfrey's interview with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. In his defense of the monarchy, he said the following. He said, "Nobody in the world in history has done more for people of color than the British royal family." Let's take a look. Exactly.
The Queen and the royal family have spent the last 70 years touring round the Commonwealth. The vast majority of those people are black and Asian. I would put it to you, nobody in the world in history has done more for people of color than the British royal family. I'm disgusted, the British people are disgusted, and by a majority of 2-1, opinion polls now say we want them stripped of their titles.
Right. So let me repeat what this clown said. He said, nobody in the history of the world, in history, has done more for, I think he meant to say two. I think this is what he actually meant to say. He said, nobody in the world in history has done more to people of color than the British royal family, because he's mixing up his prepositions there. He's saying for people of color. No, I just, it amazes me. And then even Prince William, whichever the older one that's bald like us, he came out and said that the British family, the royal family, is absolutely not racist. Y'all are the original racists.
Original.
You guys come from the bloodline of the original racists who conquered and colonized black and brown countries across the globe to the extent where your empire was visible from sun up to sundown. Like again, I want to say the sun never set. This is what you all used to brag about. And the only way you're able to make that claim, or the only way you were able to accomplish it, was through literally destroying entire nations and erecting a white supremacist structure that divided and conquered the people of those lands. And yes, I'm sorry, that doesn't just go away because now we're in the 21st century and now you guys are trying to, whatever, but you still have colonies. You still have nations that are still setting themselves free from having the queen be the head of state. And so it blows me away, the nerve of the original colonizers. And this is why I go so hard. Like whenever anybody asks me, my only real interest in this is to the extent to which Meghan Markle and Oprah Winfrey and Prince Harry can actually lead to the downfall of the monarchy. Because monarchies by itself, in and of itself, has been a plague, a blight on world history. And the British crown is leading amongst them. But this clown, I want to play it one more time because I just want to make sure we heard it right. He's saying that nobody, I got to watch my mouth and remember I have a very diverse audience, but this is what y'all cousins and them do. They they absolutely love saying like this isn't, the Confederate flag isn't about racism. It's about our heritage, right? Huh? It's literally about slavery, right?
It's
and they love to say,
slavery.
we're the least race. I've got black friends, huh? No, this is part and parcel of exactly what, and you look at who they connected with before we watch it again. They connected with Newsmax, which is the leading edge of white supremacy media in this country. It's just clean and sanitized with people with suits on and flashy graphics. But underneath it, or not even underneath it, right at the surface level, Newsmax is one of the leading racist outfits in this entire country. And so, of course, Nigel Farage would connect with this Trump-laden Newsmax organization because they connect on the white supremacy. They connect so much on their racism that the Americans, right, the racists here in America are more than happy to side with the monarchy against which we waged the Revolutionary War, right? So all the time they're sitting here talking about the founding fathers and the American Revolution and the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence was written against the British Crown. But they love their racism so much that they're willing to make league with the very people this nation had to declare independence from. Let's take a look at that clip one more time as he tells you that nobody has done more for people of color. Rather, nobody has done more to people of color than the British Crown. Look again.
Racist. The Queen and the royal family have spent the last 70 years touring round the Commonwealth. The vast majority of those people are black and Asian. I would put it to you, nobody in the world in history has done more for people of color than the British royal family. I'm disgusted. The British people are disgusted. And by a majority of 2-1, opinion polls now say we want them stripped of their titles.
What a credit at. What y'all done did for black people in the past 70 years that y'all so proud of that you feel like you got to get on TV and talk about it.
Yeah, what y'all
He
did?
sound like Dwayne said. He sounds just like Trump's ass. It's just
no one has done more for the coloreds than me. This is exactly what
nobody has done anything for the niggas more than I have.
It's all right, he sounds just like Donald Trump, right? Because this is what they do. They are they're attempting to rewrite history. And the bad part about it, James, is that it is all they have to do is say it. And they have enough believers and followers who are going to repeat it. And so now history is being rewritten in real time where they're going to say no one has done more for people of color. And I guess let's break it down just a little bit more before we go to a first break. If you consider their perspective, they really thought that they were civilizing these savages. So from that perspective, he still believes that they've done more for us because before them, we were uncivilized. Before them, we didn't have culture. in their mind. Before them, this is Nigel Farage speaking. Before Nigel Farage and his original colonizers came and dominated the global South, we were nothing but savages and huts. So we should be grateful that this is what he's saying. Honestly, in his heart, he believes that by them coming and conquering all these nations, killing millions of people, destroying families, and doing so all for profit, he honestly believes that they did us a favor.
Yep.
Tell you what, take your favor and shove it up your British ass, Nigel Farage. Take us to a break, James. We'll come back. We'll have more Like It or Not after this.
All right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoy the show thus far. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more Like It or Not coming up. But until then, we're going to get into some of this good music. Good morning, everybody that's in the chat room. Check y'all out. Good morning. Good morning.
On my sixth sense, but you had us figured I can't use me at your expense. They be on that pretense, we be on some defense. If you in the past tense, you could keep your 2 cents. I don't wanna be another target on a headless. All my people.
Good morning, Mama. I see you down there in the chat room. Good morning, Mama. Good morning. Love you.
And I trust a soul, they gon' turn on you the quickest. Them so much going
Really?
on, and that's what we call our home. They been looting and protesting, trying to
Sensation, good morning.
Nobody got us like we got us. Streets is in a frenzy, you see the riots. Stand up for a cause, or you die for one of yours. Ain't no universal laws, they just wanna sabotage. Rolling with my entourage, and they tell us be safe, but they got our hands behind us while we down up on our face. It don't make
JL, good morning. Alicia, good morning. Hope you enjoyed your birthday.
Feeling really stressful, yes, I'm being dreadful. How could we be careful when we ain't really careful? Therefore, all of you need a good mentor. Yes,
Synthos, good morning. Brenda, good morning. Annie, good morning. Esther, good morning, y'all.
Government always trying to send, so we at war. Yeah, we black, but we really called Moors. Born poor, all we care about is Jordan Concords. Looting stores, why you taking things that's not yours? All black, yeah, they know it, yeah, on the George Floyd. Stay on point, half America is really unemployed.
Melanie, good morning, good morning. Brian, what's going on, brother Brian?
All these business burned down and destroyed, no insurance. Think my people kinda missing what's important, yeah. Stand up for your rights.
Brother Chuck Diesel, good morning, good morning. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in on Twitch and Facebook as well, too, y'all. Good morning.
Don't shoot, hands up, but they still gon' do.
Mara, good morning.
Man, what y'all doing? Need to come together, all of us, to start a revolution. Yeah, this
David, good morning, sir. I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Stop the shooting, we've been living in confusion. Getting intense, using up my 6 cents. But you had us figured I can't use me at your expense. They be on that pretense, we be on some defense.
Afraid not, good morning.
Past tense, you could keep your 2 cents. I don't wanna be another target on a head list. All my people running around the city like some misfits. So I'm steady praying for my brothers like a wish list. And I trust a soul, they gon' turn on you the quickest.
Y'all are horrible people. Mama Bina, good morning, Mama Bina.
I've been thinking, you don't really
Latif, what's going on?
about you and I see you hurting, but you still feel it.
Philip, my sister actually started calling me Bubba when I was younger while we were still in Alabama, because I'm from Montgomery, Alabama.
You're always on the road.
So sister was calling me Bubba for the longest. She was the only one. But then when I got to college, I was in the band and my crab name was Bubba. To me, it was just like, I mean, everybody's called me Bubba already. So, but Bubba stuck, and Bubba has been with me for several years.
Will never come back again. It's sad you never thought I was good enough.
It's Truth the Dragon, yes. I appreciate love.
And it's all a bluff. It's all a bluff.
Hey, Ben, my mama say I got a breakfast quiche cooking, so when you're done.
It's sad you never thought I
I know, right? And that damn key's good as hell too.
I've been thinking, 'cause I don't wanna waste my precious time. Always looking for the next best thing. Do it on your own.
Yeah, savory with a pastry shell.
So are you looking?
I've never asked them damn crab names.
I mean, don't get me wrong, but what happened? Or was I not the one?
You see it, I appreciate that.
Oh no, 'cause the life we live will never be enough. Why don't you stop for a minute? Just relax yourself. This moment will never come back again. It's sad you never thought I was good enough, but I called you.
The previous song, what was it? I missed it. The previous song was Reparations by ISO Indies. Reparations by ISO Indies. Dude, I appreciate that you have a good day too. Cat B, good morning. Purple Rain Hearts, what you cooking this morning? All right, y'all, coming back to the screen, we have Benjamin Dixon, and guess who's joining us? Rebecca! Hey, come on, Rebecca!
It's me.
Yes,
Is that a
I
sponge?
see you.
Is that a SpongeBob shirt?
I see you.
Oh yeah. Look at the it's the I'm about to head out.
I'm out. Oh, I'm about to head out.
I'm out. Yeah. I can't
like it.
stand her. I can't
You
stand her at
got
all.
that at Greenbrier Mall?
No,
Man.
this I got from I don't even know what the green. You talking about? No, this I
The
got
Hood Mall, the mall around the way.
I'm about to say.
Because
Yeah.
they have all the best T-shirts. You go right there.
No, you got to go to City Trends where they cost $3.
Oh,
that.
yeah. Okay. Because you be spending like $25. Like I love supporting Black folks, but when y'all T-shirts cost $30, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna.
That's why I went to. Well, City
Like
Trends
for
is
real.
pretty black. Is it
Yeah.
black? But it's pretty black. I think
Depends
it's
on
Yes,
what
City
you're in,
Trends is
but yeah,
really
it's
black.
Yeah,
Y'all
so
talking about
City
pretty
Trends,
black.
that's
It's
where I
really
go
black.
to get my poetic justice type situations. And
Them earrings is a whole vibe. It's a whole circle on
thank
your,
you.
on
This
your, on
is
your
that's
earring.
these are my
22s, bruh.
signature earrings.
She ran 22s on her ears, bro.
Yeah,
Keep
and
it clean,
every
though.
time it's so funny. People call them like door knockers, and like they'll come and they'll put their hands through it. I could do that. They'll put their hands through it and stuff like that. Like this is like my signature thing. Like when I'm on the streets, it's the biggest hoops I can find. And if I'm with my natural hair or whatever, I do the ponytail, and they be like, "Okay, poetic justice." That's been my thing. But Didi's is also a good place. Didi's discount. I go there.
My mama loves Didi's.
Because everything is nothing.
Jesus.
Like I'm like, you can literally get the outfits that's on Fashion Nova if you really are patient enough to go through Didi's. And I don't shop at Fashion Nova, but I've seen like, they're selling this on line at these different boutiques.
Like $100.
Yeah, the women are selling them for, and I get it. It's your hustle, it's your thing. But the thing is, the profit that you guys are making is way it's not mathematically correct. Like you cannot be taking a shirt that's $5 and then doing it spend like $90, sweetie. I definitely got this shirt. And then sometimes I also have to go over there to the UK at the white people shops, like Boohoo and them. And
the
I have to
United
go shop
Kingdom?
with them.
Okay.
Oh, that's what they did for black people.
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing.
Didi's actually, now I'm having memories of Didi's. I've passed through Didi's a couple of times, and I just don't have the patience to go through all those aisles and look. So if you got the patience, I guess that's a good thing.
No, Didi's is good. It helped me with
Didi's discount, right?
Yeah, Didi's discount. It helped me with the decor in my home. I mixed it with some Target stuff. I mixed it with some Dollar Tree. Target.
How do y'all say Dollar Tree like Target?
Dollar Tray. I mixed it with some Target from Dollar Tray.
I love my people.
Gwen say y'all got to go shopping together. She say you are my child, Rebecca. I love those stores. Girl.
Yes. So yes, mama. Yes, mama.
Oh, we were talking about getting the vaccine, and we're actually talking about we need to all just go get it together so we could just get it done.
Yeah, I heard you guys, and not you saying that you need to put your stomach on the table and say.
I'm like, hey, I'm
put it right there.
Yes. I'm right there.
It's
Look
the
at me.
big-
I'm in the obese category. Let's get this thing done. I hope I can get the one shot though, because I'm not trying to like sit
the
around and
Johnson
wait.
Johnson, right?
Yeah, I just want the one
that's what
shot.
I'm shooting for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take what I can get, but
I wasn't gonna get it. I was about to Wendy Williams it and say I'm not getting it. I don't trust it. But at the same time, me like I heard you saying, me having to come home and feel like I don't want to put people in danger because I went somewhere now I got to quarantine. And I'm miserable when I'm quarantined. I'm miserable when I stay home. Like I'm not I'm not mentally. I can't do this another year.
I feel that. It's hard enough. Like, I mean, it's hard enough to do. Everybody has their different ways of struggling through this pandemic. I couldn't imagine being in a place by myself. But at the same time, I often think people wouldn't want to imagine being in a house with small kids who are just like, like living their best life. As far as they're concerned, summer never ended. So love them. I love my kids. Love y'all if y'all watching. But man, when I could get y'all back into school safely, blessed be the name of
And see, that's how I feel. I'm just like, if I'm here by myself, but like the family is like who I always go around. So when I go out and I got a weekend that I DJ, now I can't go see the family again because now I got to wait 2-3 weeks to see what's going on. So yeah, that's why I'm ready to go ahead and get it. Mom and dad got it. So then once I get it, I'll be over there every other weekend. And
it's good. It's great to have, like Ben, you were saying, like everybody has their different ways of dealing with it, and we all have our different struggles within the pandemic. Because I couldn't imagine, in my mind, I would love to be around family, but then not having your space because you guys have been so always together all the time. But then it's like, for me, it's like I'm just alone, right? I'm just alone. So say, me and old boy get into argument, I'm just alone. I have nothing, my friends, everything, all those start to slip away and not on no like, you see who your real friends are when stuff. It wasn't that. They just kind of like, everybody just kind of like went their own way. And
a year's a long time.
A year's a long time. It's just been me. And I'm like, I got to get
out. It's a long time.
And I know how long this is now because I'm having fond memories of a year ago when we were in the pandemic. I'm like, wait a minute. We were having a good time. Like, I'm having memories of the pandemic. That lets me know, like, we've been in this seriously a long time. Like, I'm having a hard time remember, where were we when we did this? You was at home because you were stuck in the pandemic. I'm like, so I can't imagine having to go through another year of this because it just fundamentally changes you. I don't think any of us are actually the same, right? I think we're totally different people. Matter of fact, you and me, Rebecca, we had to get to know each other all over again in this media space because we had both been in isolation for damn near 9 months.
I'm like, who are you?
I'm like, who is this? Like, she told me, like,
you're sensitive. No, you're sensitive, but our sensitivity, our sensitivity.
You tripping? No, you tripping.
I'm like, nah, did you see how you did that though?
I didn't know, but did you see how you did that the other day? So yeah,
I didn't think that you had a problem. I thought we were all right. No, we don't know each other, so we got to get to know each other again because we've become different people in this space. I'm more like, I thought, like, I guess because I'm so alone, I'm like, maybe what I'm saying is offensive. I don't have that people.
You don't have that people filter anymore.
Yeah. So what's crazy? The beginning of the pandemic was actually a vibe, right? What we were doing was, we're going to go out, buy the bottles up, get back to the crib and just, 2 weeks.
Like a hurricane party.
Yeah, it's like a hurricane.
Yeah. And this was a year-long hurricane.
Yeah, and it was stressful. But then we had a video came up of me doing the I'm a Savage challenge. And then another one, a video came up of me doing some other one. I don't know. We were doing like snap your fingers. And I was like, girl, what? I was doing that? Then I was walking it out. Me. And then then me twerking at a FAMU Zoom party. I was doing all that. Today, I'm literally I'm tired.
It's just so different. And I don't think people, I talk about it all the time, and you and I talk about it too. Like, I don't think people realize the impact this last year has actually had on us, because we spend so much time online and we don't really realize that we literally disconnected from the rest of the world, right? Like, we don't. When's the last time y'all hugged somebody that's not, when's the last time you hugged somebody that's not in your household? When's the last time you actually went somewhere, that's not, in your household? Like, these are really different times. And I think people have to take into account that they too, like those of y'all who are watching us, y'all laughing with us, but we laughing at y'all too. We laughing at each other because we've all gone through this, and we've all have had to separate and be isolated in ways that has fundamentally changed us. So when you said, Rebecca, about your friends, like, it's not that, it's just that you guys you haven't seen each other in a year or however many months you haven't seen each other. We
grew apart too. It's like,
it just happens.
Yeah.
It's like we all were dealing with the pandemic in different ways. And it just was like, dang, I'm sorry, girl. I'm moving way into the mountains. And if you want to visit me, you can, You can. And it was like, she had her own thing going on, and then it just became just that. And she was my only friend here. Like, when I say friend, like my real friend, everybody thinks they're your friend, and whatever. But this was my only friend that I would invite over during the pandemic. We spent the first, 2 months together, like, visiting each other because we were all we had in the beginning of the pandemic. And then when I moved, it was like, girl, that was it. Everybody was just like, I can't mentally take people right now. I don't know if you have it. Where have you been? I don't care if you're my best friend or not. It was like those things. And I had to understand those things. And then just kind of like, then we just started becoming different. It's like how generations have been shortened. Like 4 years is a generation now. Wow, like I feel like 6 months is a generation, child. But like you really grew. I turned 30 and I feel like I've been aged, even though I'm still cute. I feel like I've been aged 5 years. Yeah. Like it did wear and tear on my mental.
I'm trying not to do my 40th. I had to do my 40th. Like you did your 30th. I did my 40th in quarantine. I'm trying not to do my 41st. I just can't.
Oh, no, it's not. I'm trying to be on somebody's island, baby, with somebody's son. So yeah.
So anyway, that said, we got some more news and politics as always that we have to cover. Rebecca, we've been following this Andrew Cuomo thing pretty closely because, well, you were one of the first people to actually give it the kind of coverage that it needed in the first place.
Because it's me, it's always me. Governor Andrew Cuomo banned reporters from covering his appearance at a Tuesday event for the state fair, citing restrictions and related to COVID. The email came ahead of Cuomo's appearance at the New York State Fair. So the fair just so happens to be where a 2016 incident took place, where Cuomo urged reporter Bethany Cephalo, I hope I did not get that wrong, to eat a whole sausage, child. Just saying it is uncomfortable, but let's take a look.
No excuses. Everyone, the county.
It's not as easy to do this in front of all these cameras as it is.
Well, that's right. That's your thing. Not only do you have to eat the sausage, but you have to...
That's part of the being the governor, right? Learning how
well, there is a course when you get elected to office. They have a course called Eating on Camera.
I mean...
Okay.
Yeah. So she did come out and say that she did not feel that was anything, that it was inappropriate. She didn't feel that it was. So because she said that, she said she didn't feel attacked. And then I know that everybody else still stood their ground with it. But when I watched it, if it was me, I would have probably, I've been in the room, guys, and I can't even lie. I'm not even going to front. Like, when I'm in the room, especially in some of these spaces where media professionals are or for other work things, dudes will flirt in a way where they say stuff like that. And I'll just brush it off. But that's me. I'll just be like, all right, whatever. Let's get to this money, right? Let's do what we need to do. But growing up in this game, like getting more mature in this game, I have to understand that some things are inappropriate. And I need to be like, sir, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And but I guess for her, she was saying her truth, and she said she didn't feel that was inappropriate. It didn't bother her.
So let me ask you this. So this surfaced and it's being circulated as more evidence of his being inappropriate. And so the actual journalist that was in that clip said, not to her, but it's still being circulated as a problem.
Because
am I hearing you right?
Yeah, because everyone, and this, interestingly enough, this was, I think this video made its rounds last week. And so everybody was using what she said to say, we're just blowing things out of the water. But just because she said it was inappropriate, it wasn't inappropriate for her, does not mean that the others felt the same way. So
watching it, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like I'm kind of with you on this one. Like watching it, listen, what you said is plenty, because these spaces are just like that. I am surprised often how many dudes, sometimes women, but mostly dudes, really don't care that they gonna get a sexual harassment charge one of these days. Like they really say stuff and they carry themselves in ways that I firmly believe I get caught. Like, because I'm paranoid like that. I'm always thinking, somebody's watching, I'm thinking the feds are watching. So, and that's not just the only reason I don't do these type of things. I'm married. That's the second reason. But it's like, I'm so surprised at how cavalier a lot of men are in these spaces. I've seen it firsthand. I know exactly some of the stories that you're talking about, Rebecca, because we're in some of those same spaces. And I've seen people go from professional to hella inappropriate in 0.1 seconds. And I'm sitting back in amazement, wondering if they ever really think that they would get caught. And that's the vibe that I get from Andrew Cuomo, not necessarily from that clip, but just from all the other encounters, all the other reports. He just strikes me as a powerful man who just felt like he could get away with saying things that are inappropriate. And maybe he thought that, I didn't actually touch anybody, I didn't actually assault anybody. But no, you're right. Like, at a certain extent, like, we cannot let these spaces that we have power in and over be spaces where the women around us, or hell, even the men around us, have to feel as though they just have to take these things and just brush it off. Like, nobody should feel like they have to just brush these kind of things off. But far too often, it happens it happens all the damn time.
It happens all the time. And that's not to minimize it. It's not to make it seem as though like it's not important. It's a teachable moment for me. I may have thought that this was normal because every space that I've been in has been that way. And sometimes it's flirting, whatever. But then sometimes it's like the old creepy guy like saying things to me that are very inappropriate. Like,
Right.
yeah, like, eat that sausage, girl, and then stare at me. Don't do that.
Whatever. Come on.
Like that's weird. So, but
and that's what they do. That's what they do. People be holding them bags and be trying to say, like, this is your weight. You want that bag? It just. But
I ain't the one. Like, I literally rather do it myself. Get my own, that whatever. But anywho, it's just one of those things. I think we have to let the women explain it for themselves and believe them. If she said this, that's how she felt. Believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it didn't bother her, let's just focus on as I put on my earrings like I'm about to fight somebody. Let's just focus on.
What you're not going to do is...
let's try these women. That's what we're not going to do. But he restricted so let's go back to the main story, was the fact that he restricted this area. And that's because there's embarrassment there. There's shame there. Before, he had all access, baby. It was all access. You guys have to take this call. It was all access, though.
Hey, that's the people watching you. I'm telling y'all,
It definitely is.
when y'all get on air, let me tell you something. When y'all get on air, trust me, these people are watching. That said, there's another story we want to cover about evangelicals, Christian evangelicals, right-wing conservatives. There's a shakeup happening in that world that I think is meaningful for us to discuss. Beth Moore, one of the most prominent white evangelical women in the country, has broken with the Southern Baptist Convention over their support of former President Donald Trump. Now, to me, it's a little too late, but I digress. In an interview published on Tuesday in Religion News Science, Ms. Moore had the following to say. She said, quote, "There comes a time when you have to say, this is not who I am. I'm still a Baptist, but I can no longer identify with Southern Baptists." Now, according to experts quoted in the New York Times, Moore's departure will have big reverberations. According to Jamar Tisby, the president of a Black Christian collective, called the witness, quote, Beth Moore has more influence on the cachet of Southern Baptists, especially white Southern Baptist women, than the vast majority of Southern Baptist pastors or other leaders. So her leaving is not just about one individual. Now, Mrs. Moore is not a church leader, but instead a very prominent Bible teacher. She has written wildly popular Bible study guides and is well spoken in front of thousands, as well as spoken in front of thousands as a public speaker in various churches. So to me, this is, again, cool. Glad you saw the light. But Donald Trump was president for 4 years. And I didn't hear this condemnation during his presidency. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, she come to the light whenever she comes to the light. But it's not just about, it can't be limited to just Donald Trump. Because the Southern Baptist Convention, along with white evangelicals, conservative evangelicals, are still a problem above and beyond Donald Trump. Donald Trump was like the most repugnant example of what evangelicals have been for a long time. So to me, I'm like, it's cool that she can step out here and make this statement and come out against Donald Trump. But Donald Trump, James, is gone. He's gone. I mean, He's trying to come back, and I get that. So shout out to, I mean, it's like you could take what you get sometimes. Like, this is a cool thing that she's doing now. But to me, it's too little too late. And the problems of the evangelical church still persist. So I don't know. What are your thoughts about that, man?
Man, you're right. I'm just, I want to know why she did it. And I've never heard like any of her sermons before. But, with those types of evangelicals, I don't know, their message is always that gay is evil. There you go. Gay is evil. Yeah. That's it. That's the majority of it. Yeah. So, I'm just interested to see, how many people are going to follow her. Right. Right. And then what do they actually, what are they actually following her for? Right. Because again, it's just not enough to me for you to be anti-Trump, because I've seen people who are anti-Trump do a lot of bad crap. Right. And particularly, James, like you're talking about, the evangelical church, their number one thing is like who you sleeping with. And whether or not a woman has the right to determine what she's going to do with her body, like that's the only things they care about. And so I would want to ask her that question. I would want to ask: are you leaving the how Rebecca says it, the evangelique? Are you leaving the evangelical church because of their bigotry, or are you only leaving because Donald Trump was too embarrassing for you? That's the real question. Rebecca, what you think? Throw you under the bus.
Look, it was a lot happening just now, but it was the job. But no, seriously, in these moments where these evangeliques be speaking and whatever, it's not places where we can I can't ever believe none of them. I can't, just because we're saying they're going rogue. Does this mean that she's now had her come to Jesus, or who are we talking about? First of all, because I'm in on the conversation, but I don't know the person. But
Beth Moore. Yeah. Okay,
her. So I wanted to make sure I have it right. Now she's having her come to Jesus moment or whatever. I don't know if her saying that she no longer identifies with Southern Baptist means much, because that sounds like and no offense to homie that was on the show the other day when he said, Republicans and conservatives are different. Yeah, when I see somebody who's let themselves be in this environment for such a long period of time, nothing has changed except for now you don't like how it's affecting you in some way. And that's when you decide you need to remove yourself from the situation. Right. You will always be that thing to me.
And it is about, like you said right there, it is about how it impacted them personally. But are they looking at how they have impacted other people?
For years.
Right? Yeah. For years. Like it was Southern Baptists, it was evangelicals, it was white Christians, conservative Christians that lynched us before service and after service, went to Sunday school and then went and lynched us, right? Those are the people that we literally had to fight against for our voting rights, for our civil rights, right? Jim Crow was an institution that was thought up by Klansmen and Klansmen meeting in their Christian churches. So like, I appreciate that she is an individual enough to, in this moment, to part ways with them. But that church in particular has a long history of hurting people and doing it in the name of their God to our detriment.
It's 2016, right? Let's rewind and just go back to 2016 when Donald Trump was won the presidency. Sure. What was that church doing then? Where was she? What was she sitting at? The front row? Were they praying? Were they holding hands and praying and thanking God that he won? Because now we're in 2021 and you are saying that you are removing yourself from this particular church because
of Trump,
their support of Donald Trump. But what happened 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019? What happened?
2020.
2020.
Where was she?
Where were you on that side? How did you benefit from him being president?
Right.
No, you did. So now something had to happen, and it's probably this maybe how COVID was being treated, and it's probably came to your doorstep, maybe affected a person that you know, and now you're starting to see things different. I don't mind people coming to the light. I'm a very forgiving person, sometimes to a fault, and but in these cases or these particular people, like I would never forgive. I don't have it in me to forgive those people who lynched and did all that. I don't. I will never forgive those people. But there are people who learn, right? You had all this time, stuff was happening in front of your face. Like you had all this time and now you decide to leave the church. I don't know why it's such a big deal that you said it, but I guess it's because evangelicals are people who stand with it, like who will stand their ground until the day they die. And I think that's why it seems that it's a rare moment, a gem that we're finding here. How do you say
it? It's like if you were just to say
evangelique.
Evangelique. And I know Professor Anthea Butler, who's a regular, she says evangelicals, and that's closer. Evangelique. Evangelicals. That's what we call them.
Evangelicals, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Somebody else saw the light. Somebody from the formerly of the black delegation. We traded her off a couple of years ago. Stacey Dash has seen
what?
When she's seen the light and she's apologizing and she's crying and
do we take her back?
Well, that's the question.
Wait a minute.
I feel like, wait a minute, Mom. Let's play the clip of Stacey Dash coming to the light of how she was wrong. And then let's decide as the black delegation if we're going to accept her back. Take a look.
I've lived my life being angry. Which was what I was on Fox News. I was the angry, conservative black woman. And at that time in my life, it was who I was. And I realized in 2016 that anger is unsustainable. And it will destroy you.
Okay, that's a fact.
And what people don't know is that I made a lot of mistakes. And because of that anger. Being a supporter of Trump, has put me in some kind of box that I do not belong in. I don't hate anyone. I don't, I don't know where that comes from. And, he's not the president. So I'm going to give the president that we have right now a chance.
Girl, you just want to be relevant. I was about to say something else with an F in it.
She's not coming back.
Girl, she's not coming back. She is not welcome.
Because at the end of the day, like when I look at that and I hear her, it's like she wants to be received, because if she's received now, she will be in the places where she can get work. And it's harder for the black women who support Trump to start getting work again when they work in entertainment than it is for the black men. The black men could say do whatever and still and the black men could say and do whatever and still be loved, merchandise purchase, rap albums still, skyrocketing. But that's, I ain't gonna get into that.
You talking about them? You talking about like the Kanyes and the Lil Waynes and them
and the Kodak Blacks and
all of them.
Because he needed to get out, so he had to make his rounds and Lil Wayne wanted to be pardoned and so they wanted to make closer. But some of them even before, like they've been saying what benefits them with Donald Trump in office, and saying that they are separate from the black struggle and things like that. But anywho.
I'm looking at the comment section. People saying was she on drugs in that interview? I'm like, first of all, my audience, y'all, our audience is ruthless. Number one, number two, yes.
Not a tear though. Not a tear.
With the napkin, she was dabbing her eyes and her nose, but those weren't tears.
She looked great. She looked beautiful. She was giving dewy skin, early summer spring vibes. Nice honey colored hair.
She been fly since Clueless.
But that wasn't enough for me, baby. I need Omarosa is a different person. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Omarosa was like, let me try to get in here and get me a check. But, let me try to get in here and do that. But Omarosa is still... Omarosa is still someone. We apologize, guys. I know every time I watch them, everybody just talks at the same time. It's Dwayne talking to us. But Omarosa is someone who, to me, I hate to say it, but when stuff hits the fan, let me tell you something. She's dragging everybody down. Oh, yeah. Everybody, you know. Yeah. And then the way that she dragged Bethany Frankel and you saw that clip. We're talking about being a woman in the space. And she was like, sweetie, you can never be me. I'm a black woman. And this is what my struggle looks like. It does not look like yours. She always clears the room. Even if she's like a very unlikable person, she stands in her truth, but then at the same time, she's that black Republican that will find other black women in the room and be like, I see you, I see you, I see you. Stacey Dash is somebody to me that will she didn't have the information. She didn't have the bandwidth. She does not have it. And now she wants to come back and be safe. Omarosa never said I wanted to come back. Omarosa is like, I did it. I did it,
and I do it again.
And I do it again.
There's very few people in these spaces. There's very few people in these spaces that I actually don't want to smoke with. Omarosa is one of them. There's certain people that you just don't win up against. Omarosa is one. I'm not even going to do the vote based on Omarosa being welcomed back into the black delegation. I want to ask the audience.
He's just pulling up.
Break. As we get ready to go to break, and we'll come back with our first guest in the chat room. If you are a part of the black delegation. Do we accept, not Omarosa, what's her name? Stacey Dash. Do we accept Stacey Dash back into the black delegation based on this tearful video interview? Leave it in the comment section. And when we come back with more Like It or Not after this break with James, we'll cover it.
All right, no, my answer gonna be, goddamn it. Shout out to everybody. Make sure that y'all are hitting that like button, y'all. Make sure that you hit that like button, y'all.
Keep you, baby. Oh, to keep you, baby. Now I hurt so bad. All I feel is sad that I lost you, baby. Oh, I lost you, baby.
Well, y'all is running it up in this chat room, man.
Tears inside, calling out your name as you shut the door behind you. And now I wonder, why won't you come back? Love me, hold me, need me, like the way you used to do. When it was just me and you. Don't go, I need you, I'll never mislead you. Give this love another chance. Take my hand and let me have this dance.
Y'all make sure that y'all are hitting that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button, and make sure that you share, comment, and subscribe too. All right, y'all.
Without you, babe.
Armand. Big N, Lil O.
I miss you, baby. Yeah, I miss you, baby. I said goodbye with tears inside.
Sensation, this is Let Me Have This Dance.
You shut the door behind you.
Yeah.
And I wonder why won't you come back?
I'll let you know who it's by, but it's called Let Me Have This Dance.
Need me like the way you used to do when it was just me and you. Don't go, I need you. I'll never mislead you. Give this love another chance. Take my hand and let me have this dance.
Rebecca?
Somebody tell me what.
Oh wow! Shazam!
Somebody show me cause
Shazam!
I'm ready to love. Yeah, to love so baby.
Alexa, play Cardi B Up.
Oh my God. James trying to get our internet shut off by YouTube by getting
the games you play. The games you play.
Listen, let me before we go into this, let me introduce Ahmed Baba, who's the co-founder, president, and editor-in-chief of Rantt Media, also a columnist for the British newspaper The Independent. Brother, thanks so much for joining us. The first thing I want to ask you is, do we accept Stacey Dash back into the black delegation? What do you think?
No way. The black delegation is not having that. What the black delegation should do is commission a trade. Now, I think we could trade Stacey. Who do y'all think? I'm thinking maybe, we got Eminem. I mean, some easy low-hanging fruits we can trade.
Yeah, Eminem is too easy.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because this new generation, look, every time this new generation,
It's 'cause you're getting old, Rebecca.
Right. Has given us stuff like Bad Baby, the girl that did what is that? The Meet Me Outside. How about that?
Catch Me Outside,
that one.
yeah.
And they've given us even this new girl from that Uber video that we saw may become somebody as well. They've given us like Kim Kardashian. These people we don't want them. Not to say that they're like Kim Kardashian is a fly woman, but she can't come to the cookout just because she's married to a black man. True. So I don't know who it would be. That's a good question. We got to really, really think about that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I know it's not the kind of trade we normally would trade for someone from the Caucasus Mountains, but I would take Omarosa back, and they could keep Stacey Dash, just because I like having the most cutthroat person on our team.
She real.
She's got that tactician's mind. She can she can help some scheming.
Yeah, no, she's a master at that. So it's an overwhelming no from the chat room. So I'm sorry, Stacey Dash, your tearful video. We don't want you back.
It better be only coming from black folks.
Well, that's why I qualified it. I love my non-black audience. We appreciate you, but we only needed black delegation on that one. That said, brother, hey, listen, I've been watching your work for some time with Rantt Media. Could you tell us about that platform and what inspired you to start it?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on, because this show is pretty lit. I mean, if you played Up before this, you would have caught me, dancing on that screen when it was, because I was caught off guard. I was jamming when the camera came up. So I appreciate the show, but I mean, Rantt in general. So what we're trying to do is, as you know, for the past 4 years, we're really kind of focused on, just opposing authoritarianism was our baseline. But really in this next era, we're really trying to create community through common understanding. And the way we're doing that is through content that combats disinformation. We want to make sure we're trying to create an environment where there's a set of commonly agreed upon facts, because that's really one of the biggest challenges we face right now, is that people are living in, well, there's one side living in objective reality, and then we have the other side talking about Jewish space lasers and Trump being inaugurated every other week. So really our focus is disinformation, and we're trying to see how we can bridge some of these gaps in the information space.
Well, how? Because that's a big one, right? You're striking you're striking to the core of the fundamental problem that we have right now. The fact that there's two alternate universes happening, coexisting in the same place. Those people who don't believe masks, they believe masks are an infringement on their freedoms, and they don't believe science. You know, how are you and your company actually making inroads into that? Because that's a difficult task that you've taken on.
Yeah. So, I mean, what we're trying to do really now is really shift to a more approach where we can pull people in who have felt as if they've been, just disillusioned, right? So what we do now is we do a lot of extremism focused content. So we'll go to the core of why people become radicalized, what rabbit holes they go down, and we try to create content. We have a partnership with this company called the Center for Analysis of the Radical Right. They're actually based in the UK, and we publish extremism-based content around that, in which we go to the core of it and say, hey, look, this is the point where people get radicalized. This is where they start going down these conspiracy theory rabbit holes. And what we want to do in the future is start to interview former, like QAnon folks, former people who went down this path, because that's what's important. You have to show people have been self-radicalized. So we have to get them to self-de-radicalize and reverse engineer how they fell into this, and that's kind of it's a big shift from what we were doing, just kind of going hard at Trump the last few years. But now we really want to see how we can be really productive and take on this challenge. We're still working on it, obviously.
Yeah.
So I see that you talking about this. Yes, we're having to shift, especially in these spaces, from talking about Trump and being, going hard on speaking about him all the time, every day, whether it was a dumb tweet or a name that he made up. But I see that you said that you documented Trump, most of his presidency, his entire presidency, and you stayed sane. Tell us about that.
Well, I stayed sane. I didn't keep my hair, but as we know, bald black bearded squad is the place to be, as Benjamin knows.
It's the place to be.
You're in good company here.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right. So yes, sir.
It worked out. But documented the presidency. So essentially, after the Muslim ban came, it was just a flurry of activity. Me and my co-founder Zach and Adam, and we were kind of, there's such a flurry of activity, and we were already doing this new news company. I was like 24 at the time, and then I was like, you know what? There's so much activity. Let me just start documenting everything that happened. So it turned from 1 week column into a 4-year column, which is now like a database that you can click into every week and see literally everything that happened every day, an analysis of what happened. And it was a journey. It was wild. And I don't know how I stayed sane, but I'm just happy I didn't have to do 4 more years of it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And now you have Rantt Media, so definitely.
Yeah. So tell us in terms of like your strategy going forward with Rantt Media. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on is because a lot of times in these independent media spaces, we're in silos and we are all aiming for some of the similar goals. But without us cross-pollinating each other's audiences, we're on our own. And there's just not, there's the resources. I know you've run into this, and I'd like for you to talk about it. The lack of resources and funding, particularly for Black independent media. What are your strategies around some of those things, as well as some of your goals for your company?
Yeah, man. As you know, it's hard. It's hard out here to get funding for Black businesses, let alone Black media companies. Minority-owned media companies. Most of my co-founders also, half Arab. So, it's tough, but basically we've done a lot of subscription based. So we used to have ads. And then we said, hey, we don't want to be polluted by that. We want to create content for you and be able to, not have to race to do clickbait. As you'll see, we publish, we take our time on our articles, make sure we got, a solid, meaningful approach. And essentially what we focused on is subscriptions. And that's really been what has driven us. And that's really the key. And as you can see, like even Twitter, everybody knows, everybody's trying to like Substack. Everyone's now trying to inch towards that subscription model because it's the way to build sustainable revenue that doesn't really get impacted by, the market and advertising dollars going up and down.
So we know the struggle when it comes to you talking about us being in this space, by us minorities, Black media being in this space. We get the short end of the stick. So when you say subscriptions, how has that been going for you in this moment? And I only ask because there was a time where it would have probably been going good, but in this day and age, it's kind of like no matter how hard we do it, it's kind of like we're at the end of it. Where a lot of white media are doing the same things that we're doing, and they get it. In 2 seconds, they'll get so much money or so much push. But for some reason, it almost feels like we just, I don't know, something is missing for us. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you feel like you're hitting these roadblocks. And then especially when you look at sometimes pre-idea companies, it seems, getting like $1 billion valuations. And I mean, you got Clubhouse built by the Black community. I've actually been doing a lot of reporting on that aspect and like talking to some of the like Portia Bell, some of the people on Clubhouse that are doing activism for the Black community there. But it's like you see these platforms that are run by, non-Black people that are a lot of times built by Black people getting funding. But when it comes to media specifically, yeah, I mean, it is difficult. When it comes to subscriptions, it's been going well. I mean, we bring them into a community. It feels, we have a newsletter, et cetera. And we've been doing it. We did things for free for so long that I think over time, our audience and people really, they believed in what we did and said eventually, hey, we'll subscribe. And I know it's tough and it's hard to get into, but, it took a long time for it to get legs. You just had to keep at it nonstop. But, that's the way to do it. But it's looking like, with what you all have here, I mean, what you do on YouTube, I mean, this is great. I'm sure you're going to have some sponsors rolling in here because, I mean, I haven't seen a real morning show vibe like this on really any platform, especially from the Black community.
Stop it. Yeah. I know we good. We are. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rebecca, I'm gonna roast you real good as soon as we let me stay focused. All the way live, Rebecca. I one of the other reasons I wanted to bring you on is because you also operate in these and heavily in the political spaces, but as an individual person with a voice, right, above and beyond what you do with your media company. I want to ask you, like, how has your experience been in terms of your politics, your Blackness? You're unapologetically Black, you're unapologetically progressive. And sometimes those things come to backfire on you if you're not careful, because the more outspoken a Black person is, particularly Black men, the more reticent the media community is, or just the broader political community is, in terms of embracing you as an individual. Have you faced some of those same impediments?
Yeah, I mean, especially, earlier, right? Like before it became, more trendy to be this way. As we know, like once last summer hit, everyone's posting Black squares and suddenly everyone's a activist. But like it was harder in the earlier days, right? Like especially 2014, like we started Rantt in 2014. It has been a long time coming. Like, so I was 21, like my whole 20s spent on this. And we were talking about these issues back then. It just wouldn't get traction, right? And then I remember specifically in 2016, I remember Adam Serwer posted about this too. And I'm sure you all were doing the same thing. But during that time when we were saying, look, although of course all Trump supporters aren't racist, but you have to ignore a lot of racism in order to support him, we were saying, hey, it's not economic anxiety, media, it's not, this is not economic anxiety. This is white supremacy kind of at the core of this. We've seen these rallies, we're Black in these spaces. And then people were laughing it off in 2016. And then you see over time, it took, when you're trying to speak that voice, a lot of the times, one of the things that made it good is that just the people on Twitter, and especially just our audience, and as you've seen, when the people are with you, it kind of makes the media kind of pay more attention. I think they've improved a lot since 2016, just because in general, when you're being unapologetically Black and calling something what it is, saying it's white supremacy or saying this lie is a lie or saying, Black Lives Matter before it was, cool to do so. It's like you said, sometimes people they'll try to marginalize you or say, hey, it's, you're getting ahead of your skis here. As you thought both of you have faced something like this, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no,
yeah. You run into
it's the phenomenon of where they want your voice, but they don't really want what you have to say. They want that Black voice to say what they want to hear. They don't want that Black voice to say what that Black voice wants to actually say. We've been facing that, like, not since I was 21. Like, how old are you, brother? You ain't even 30 yet, is you?
I'm 20. I'm 28. Yeah.
Man, you out here in these streets hitting it hard at 28. So like honestly, but from the very first entry point into this political space, Rebecca, I know you can speak to it. We face that same phenomenon. They want our faces, but they don't want our voices.
It's exactly our testimony. Every time we get on here, because we pride ourselves in bringing on, guests of color, particularly Black guests. We want to make sure this is a safe space for Black people. And when we bring them on, they understand the same thing. It's like we've all experienced that, and I want the white folks' money. Don't get me wrong. Like I want that money, but when we accept it and they put us in these spaces, they really just want our look. They want to put us on because it is something that will fall into the box of diversity and inclusion. And then they want to shut you up if you are discussing too much of a certain or particular Black subject that they may not personally align with what they believe in. But it's like, this has no business to do with you. And it would be a disservice to me as a Black person in media not to speak on this. But don't tell them that, because they don't like that. They do not like it. And that's when you decide to walk out of that and walk away from money.
Yeah.
And do it yourself, which is what we have here, and which is what you have with Rantt. So
exactly.
Unapologetic spaces are very important because we don't have to water down what the true story is.
Right.
This is our story. This is our narrative. This is what it is. And I think, it's important. I always say this with all y'all that come on this show. Every one of you guys have an important role in this space. Because of you, the stories are told correctly. Because of you. And especially because we're not, they think that we're just getting on and cutting on the TV. This is not hey guys, welcome back to my channel. No, this is not that. A lot of people have the experience to be in these spaces, whether they're journalists or been doing the reporting, or a lot of people have that. And that's why I think that they try to make it harder for us, because we're not just coming in and just giving opinions. A lot of us have been covering this stuff for years.
This is our life.
Yes.
This is this for you? Is this more of is this your life versus a career? Because we run into the other thing is we run into a lot of people who occupy these spaces as a career versus people like us and you covering this because these stories really represent what's happening in our lives. Could you speak to that?
Well, exactly. I think really it's my life. And that's the thing. It's an obsession. It's really, you have to be, when you're doing anything, any kind of entrepreneurial initiative, you have to believe in what you're doing and be in love with it. But like really what moved me into this, my co-founder, Zach, I've actually been friends with him since we were 7. And we used to talk about this all the time as kids. But like, once I got older and then like Trayvon Martin got killed, he was like 2 years younger than me. He kind of looked like me at the time. I had a full head of hair at the time too. That did happen. He looked like me a little bit. And then I was struck, right? And then I got roped in. That was when I was always paying attention to news, but then I got really roped in. And then I worked in tech, and I worked at a tech company, and people were debating the trial. And it was, a lot of the, people having these opinions in the media. I saw the way the media criminalized him. And I remember Eric Garner when that was happening, and, all of that, that's kind of what started to move me to want to get into media, because I realized the power of it and how important it is shaping these narratives, shaping our stories, shaping our truth. Whenever a Black man is killed, his mugshot is on the TV, but if the white person is doing the shooting, they show some photo of him and his family. And I saw that and I was like, this is wrong. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get into this. to try to be, because the media is the lens through which people perceive reality, as we all know. And it's been held by people who were just focused on ratings and, playing false equivalency games and just not focus on integrity. And it was obviously because of advertising dollars and corporate forces, but it's not impossible to do this and still have your integrity. And that's at least what we're trying to prove by doing what we do.
Well, thank you so much for that, Ahmed. Let us know where people can find you and where your website is so that people can come and stalk you and follow you on Twitter. Okay.
So you can find me on Rantt Media, Rantt with 2 T's, media, and at Ahmed Baba _ you can see on the screen there. I'll be on there. You can talk to me on Twitter, and we'll communicate. I appreciate y'all having me on here because the show is a vibe for sure. And, just speaking the Black truth is so important. And, as we rise throughout these spaces, let's keep in touch and just do what we do.
That's a fact.
Oh, definitely. We'll definitely keep in touch. Make sure you have you back on the show. Everybody, make sure you go follow him on all his handles. And we'll be back with more Like It or Not right after this.
All right.
Thank you so much, Ahmed Baba, for joining us this morning, y'all. I can't stand y'all. Thank you so much.
I'm feeling something special for you. And now you got me thinking till the sun comes up. Daylight.
Don't y'all stalk Ahmed too much, okay? Because y'all in the chat talking crazy.
Too much wouldn't be enough. But I'll be waiting.
Courtney, I didn't do anything. I promise I didn't do anything. It wasn't me.
I'll be waiting. I'm just a couple steps from going over the moon. I wanna move with your body, baby.
Rebecca.
I wanna move with your body, baby.
Mara. Mara Shays in the chat room. That's all I'm gonna say. Goku, what's going on? Leslie K, good morning. Brand C, peace and love. And the heart, yes. Y'all is trying to stalk the man already.
Boy, you got it.
Melody.
Emotions getting stronger with all that you do. But I'll be waiting for the moment to take me to you. I'll be waiting. Just a couple steps from going over the moon. I wanna move with your body, baby. I wanna move with your body, baby. I wanna move with your body, baby. Let me move with your body, baby. Oh yeah.
Goku. David, I appreciate that. The king of DJ. I try to do what I can. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with 28. 28 is an okay age. Mark S., good morning. Magdalene Moon, good morning. Thank you so much. Anna, why am I losing it, Anna?
Waiting for the moment.
She is.
Take me to you. Yeah, I'll be waiting.
Anna, I appreciate it. Always, every morning.
Is this what you want now? Feels like you're looking for something better.
This to that I love y'all, okay? Y'all are crazy. I love all of y'all.
This is what you want now.
Hey man, make sure that y'all are hitting that like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, y'all, okay?
I can't keep pretending.
Benny Loco, thank you, sir.
Me.
It's Sean Jones.
It's not ending. Can't give you what you need. You're misbehaving. Yeah, it's getting to me.
Mara say she'll be a cougar.
It's never ending. You can give anything, so you can go, yeah. So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself. Yeah, you better go.
Love you too, Anna. I really do.
So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself. This is what I want now. And yeah, I'm waiting for something better. This is what I want now. No,
Mama, thank you. I know I'm special, Mama. Thank you.
I can't keep pretending. It's not getting to me. It's never ending.
My mama said I'm special, y'all.
Can't give you what you need. No. You're misbehaving. Yeah, it's getting to me. It's never ending.
For Primus, ain't they out today?
So you can go. Yeah. So I can focus. I just need to focus on myself.
Love you too, Mama. Love you too.
Oh, you better go.
Y'all make sure that y'all are hitting that like button wherever you are streaming right now. Make sure that you hit that like button, y'all. Share, comment, subscribe.
So I can focus. I just need to focus on myself. Yeah. You better go. So I can focus. I just need to focus on myself.
Chuck Diesel. The quarantine cougar energy.
Sunshine, I've been waiting. Sunshine, why you playing? With my head on the time, you go away.
Martha, oh my gosh, Martha, I'm so sorry. No, I don't have a playlist that you can download from this music, but you can download and go to mixcloud.com/DJX3C or soundcloud.com/DJX3C and get my other mixes. Those you'll find the regular mixes with the copyright music. So you should check that out, definitely. But with this music, you can see it on the show. That's about it.
I chase away your shadows, away from the crowd. I give you my tomorrow, forever now. Spotlight from my cell phone.
Nick, this is Forever and Now Catnip featuring Aja.
I get chills when you call.
Seven, sweetheart, I appreciate that. Pixie on the moon, good morning.
Talk all night long. Show me affection, attention, and care. Losing the tension, and baby, I swear.
My pleasure, Martha.
Tomorrow, forever now. I'll never bring you sorrow, so don't let me down. I'll chase away your shadows, away from the crowd. I give you my tomorrow.
You see me.
Forever now.
I don't see you, sis.
Yeah, I can chance for your climb. Wanna give you my
Rebecca, I can't stand you.
So don't you let me down.
Oh my gosh.
Why you play with my head? Can't you love me instead? I give my all, I give you my tomorrow. Forever and now, I'll never bring you sorrow. So don't let me down. I'll chase away your shadows, away from the crowd. I'll give you my tomorrow. Forever and now.
He said y'all need to invest in some honey stocks.
I finally stopped running now. With you I found my peace somehow. Let go of every thought that was holding me back. Yeah, I'm in love with you in every way. That joy you give me every day makes me forget that I was troubled before. Don't know if I'm dreaming, I'm slipping away. I hear your sweet
Tippers of nature, you're welcome.
See your face. I never knew you could love someone like me.
This is Like This by Spring Game featuring Moon.
Never know felt like this before. I never know felt the love like this. I never know felt like this before. I never know felt the love like this. I know I can be safe with you. You want me now, I know you do. I know you're being patient and I love you for that. You show me how to dare to love.
I can't stand y'all, man. All right, y'all. It's time for More Like It or Not. Back to Rebecca and Ben.
Joining us now, it's Kamau Franklin, who's the founder and board president of Community Movement Builders and a dedicated community organizer for over 20 years, along with Kalonji Changa, who is an award-winning political activist and the founder of a national coordinator of the social justice organization FTP movement. And they are both co-hosts of the longtime political podcast Renegade Culture. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Like It or Not. How you doing?
Doing good.
Actually, an absolute pleasure. I had a chance to come on your show back during the election, and I knew, and actually, Kamau, I've known your work here in Atlanta for some time. Tell us about the two of you, your activism and the collaboration that you're doing with Renegade Culture. Kamau, I'll start with you.
Well, we've known each other for a few years through organizing in activist circles. I would call them like self-determination circles, organizing in the Black community. Both, doing our own thing. And a few years ago, we decided to sort of join up and to create sort of an umbrella organization called the CIFO Movement, where we took our different formations and basically formed sort of an alliance where we decided to do community work together, youth programming, organizing rallies, infrastructure building. And I think even part of what came out of that in terms of developing our friendship was Renegade Culture, which became our podcast and sort of a signature way in which we sort of talk to a larger audience. So, we've been rocking with each other for a couple of years. Sometimes people are a little shocked to see us together, because I'm so, handsome and debonair and all that kind of stuff. And I'm running with Kalonji. So, that kind of stuff, I have to put them down, let them know that my man is cool, even though I got to carry things sometimes,
I love it. Kalonji, on Renegade Culture, like y'all not playing around with this thing, right? You guys cut straight to the core of the matter. You talk about whether or not socialism is good for Black people, or you cut to the rights of Black people to bear arms. It has a revolutionary perspective. Talk about the podcast and the show.
Oh man, the podcast is. For us, it's a tool for liberation. You know what I mean? We like to use what we call the cherry cough drop theory. We make it taste so good that folks forget it's medicine. You know what I mean? So we are organizers and freedom fighters first. We use whatever form of creative resistance that we can to get our point across. So renegade culture is, it fits because the renegades in his culture, and we love our job. We want to, share the love with other people in a way that, everyday people can understand, and dig.
Yeah. I love the analogy. Like you make it so good that people don't realize that they're getting their medicine. Because that's talk about the hesitation and the reticence that you get, or the pushback that you get from even in the black community, right? Because we're not just fighting for liberation against white supremacy. We're fighting for liberation against white supremacy that's embedded in the minds of even black people. I don't know which one of you want to take that, but speak to that for me.
I'll let the less attractive guy go first.
I would say, we are decidedly radicals, right? We are decidedly in a certain camp. That it doesn't mean we won't have fuller discussions with everybody in terms of different ideas and ideologies within a larger Black community. But we come at it from a certain vantage point of we are for the self-determination of our folks. If there's an institution or organization that has power over our people, we need to control that institution, control that organization, control that political entity, or we need to destroy it or get it off our backs. So, we're not wishy-washy when it comes to, what we think needs to happen for our liberation, right? So we get pushback, I would say, obviously conservatives, but, probably more surprisingly, maybe even less surprisingly, I guess, from like liberals, right? Not only white liberals, but Black liberals. So we get folks who are like sort of tied into the apparatus of the Democratic Party to where they can't separate themselves and the needs of Black people from the Democratic Party. And some folks we work with who work strategically within the Democratic Party, but there are others who they see the Black struggle as one in the same. They see whatever is good for the Democrats must be good for Black folks. And we don't think that is the history that we as a people can point to that says that whatever the Democrats want or need, it doesn't necessarily match up with what our needs are as a people. And so, that sometimes becomes a rub for us talking about, like, what Joe Biden represents, right? We think Trump obviously represents a certain overt form of white supremacy. We think Biden represents a more subvert type of white supremacy, but still it's white supremacy. So it doesn't mean we don't have to deal with these folks in these politics, but we have to have a certain vantage point again and thinking of what it is that we want to get out of the system as opposed to being co-opted by it.
Right. So I think to add on to what I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say to add on to what Kamau was saying, I think that we represent a sector of the community that's often ignored. And I think that even within the quote unquote grassroots organizing communities, we are somewhat outcast because we have an unorthodox style of organizing. You know what I mean? We're not politically correct because the politics aren't correct. You know what I mean? So our style it's more brazen. I guess it can be compared to I would say a cross between an NWA and a Public Enemy if you were talking hip hop. We come with that raw, uncut, that the masses can feel, that the lumpen can unite with. But at the same time, we're able to dibble and dabble in all types of different circles. So with Renegade Culture, when you check it out, you might see former Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney one day. The next day, you might see Killer Mike on there. You may see speech from Arrested Development. The next day, you might see a grassroots gun club from Louisiana. So we try to hit all angles. From the quote unquote elders, or what we call the OGs, the original guerrillas, to the youth. Because we think that it's important for us to leave no stones unturned.
I mean, that's pretty big, you guys. And a lot of people might call that a radical thing, right? You said NWA. That's pretty radical for a lot of people. But the thing that you're doing, the organizing, is still very important. It doesn't matter because some people may not like how it's packaged. You know, a lot of Democrats like things to be packaged a certain kind of way. And you mentioned something. You guys aren't wishy-washy. And when it comes to Joe Biden, he gives a wishy-washy vibe, and you said that he still gives a form of white supremacy. When you do state things like that, is there pushback from other people who are organizing who don't want to organize with you guys because you speak the truth, what I call the truth about Joe Biden?
I mean, I would say, we are old school organizers, so we know all the folks in sort of the grassroots circles, folks who've been around most, 20, 30 years. Some are still friends, some are not, because that stuff happened. But, we know all those folks, some of the folks who've become sort of celebrity activists and organizers at this stage, right? So there's definitely folks that I would say individually don't mess with me anymore because, I think there's got to be an opportunity to talk about movement capture, right? An opportunity to talk about, we know everybody needs resources to do this kind of work. That's understood. But when we so closely align our politics with, again, what's needed within the Democratic Party to win elections, sometimes we forget that those same Democrats also voted for welfare reform that devastated our community, or they also voted to bring in the prison industrial complex, which devastated our community. That they've also worked close hand in hand with white supremacists, that their international politics are around hegemony and keeping white supremacy and European control of resources and nation states under the U.S. system. So all those things, those differences, which may matter somewhat on the ground, a little bit here and there, don't for us outweigh the larger context in which the Democratic Party operates, and our challenge to them sort of vis-a-vis our position in the United States as an oppressed people, as a people who come from a place where we need to resist, not only what the Republicans are throwing down, but the Democrats are throwing down, because in the end, they're interested in maintaining their power, their wealth, their system. And we have to be interested in maintaining our right to self-determination, gaining power, and controlling resources in our own institutions and organizations.
I love that talk, man. I love that because it cuts to the core of the reality. The reality that we're not just fighting against white supremacy in the form of the Republican Party, but there obviously and clearly, very transparently, is white supremacy in the Democratic Party. What bugs me out about this, though, is that it is a game. It's a game to so many people where as long as their team is in power, I voted for Joe Biden because I wanted to get rid of the white supremacist in chief. But it took less than 5 days of him in office for me to realize, we're going to have to fight just as hard against Joe Biden as we fought against Donald Trump. And it's like we're dealing with an entire, sometimes I feel like this fight is hopeless because so many people are wrapped into the overly simplistic thing of, if my guy is doing it, it's fine. If Barack Obama is dropping drones, that's fine. If Kamala Harris is going to be, dropping some pink and green drones, then that's fine. How do we separate that? It's an ongoing challenge that has been going on for years, but how do you guys strategically strike at that false dichotomy that so many people are wrapped up in?
Again, our tagline is sucker-free news, politics, and social commentary. You know what I mean? So, by default, we have to come, heavy like a Chevy. We got to bring it on the way it is because of the fact that I think that our people are in they suffer from the illusion of inclusion. You understand what I'm saying? They think that, at some point, if we just, it's like playing this thing away. We can, it's almost like, when folks smoke, or drink, you're trying to get high. You're trying to, get to another scene or whatever for the time being. But when that high goes down, you're still in the same conditions that you started out in. We're abolitionists. We are clear that the system itself is flawed. So whether they have, a Kamala Harris or a Ben Dixon or a Kamau Franklin in office, like we talked about before, it's like McDonald's. You can come in there a master chef. You know what I mean? But whatever is on the menu, what we're eating. You understand what I'm saying? You're not coming with cordon bleu. We're not eating filet mignon. You know, we know you cook well, and you know you're able to come with all these briskets and all this beautiful food, but it's not happening here. It's Big Macs on the menu. And that's what, you know, the Happy Meal. That's what's going on. We don't care about, you know, you're a vegan, you hang out with Russell Simmons, you practice, you know, yoga. None of that matters. You know what I mean? And you have to go to, you know, one thing with boxing, you know, back in the day, you know, I used to box as a team. And one of the things we had to do was study the tape of other boxers, study other fighters, see how they get down. If we study the track record of a Kamala Harris or a Lion Joe Biden, then we'll be clear. You know, I respect the folks that say, okay, boom, I voted for Biden because of the fact that I was tired of one old white man, so I wanted to come with another old white man who may not be as rude. It's like choosing your whether you want to be raped or you want a simple sexual assault. Either way, you don't want either program. You know, at the end of the day, you don't want to be touched. And I think that once we look at it for what it is, we'll begin to change our tune. But for now, you know, it's all good in the hood. You know?
Yeah. Let's shift. I wanted to shift gears with you guys. I know that you guys are organizers. And a lot has gone down. And, you know, I mean, this has been going down as far as police brutality, police murders, or them murdering us. And when I say us, I mean Black people. And there was just news that came out about the Derek Chauvin case and how how basically the judge reinstates third-degree murder charge against Derek Chauvin. So would you guys say that is a step towards something great, particularly in this George Floyd murder? Or do you think that something will end correctly here?
I mean, I think that the track record is, don't get your hopes up, right? The track record is that the court system, the criminal justice system protects its own. It doesn't protect Black people. It arrests Black people. It victimizes Black people. It jails Black people, it imprisons Black people, and ultimately it kills Black people, right? So I wouldn't get my hopes up as an organizer or as, you know, myself, a former practicing attorney, that just the reinstatement of charges means anything around what will ultimately happen with the conviction. In fact, and I'll go as far as to say, you know, I think, you know, this is similar to Rodney King, as in this was captured on videotape. There's been outrage about it. The difference so far has been that pre an outcome of a trial, there's been resistance in the streets. And so the system may also sacrifice this individual cop in order to keep things cool, right? Because ultimately what it's really about is, do they maintain power and control? And if that means every now and then throwing one of their own under a bus because the actions were so egregious, then that may happen. But that doesn't change the very nature of how policing is done on Black people in this country.
Yeah.
In fact, when we look at police murders, we're looking at the tip of the iceberg. Because again, what we have is millions of stop and frisk, millions of arrests, millions of jailings and imprisonment. And so we are excess labor, and then we become cheap labor in prison. And that system still happens and still operates.
Yeah. You're speaking my language, especially with the free labor, the slave labor that the prison industrial complex is capitalizing on every single day in this country. And another story that I know you guys are familiar with right here in Georgia, Kendrick Johnson, that case has been reopened. And it was the teenager who was found dead, rolled up in a gym mat 8 years ago. The investigation has been reopened, according to Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Paulk. The investigation concluded, the original investigation said that he accidentally slipped into the center of the mat while reaching for a shoe and got stuck. The story itself is disturbing. The insult to injury where they are playing on our intelligence is what's infuriating. I just kind of want to get your feedback in terms of what are you thinking with the reopening of the case? Because again, like even with the Derek Chauvin, I'm with you, Kamau. I'm past the stage where I get my hopes up for any justice from this injustice system.
I think I worked with the family of Kendrick Johnson when the case first went down. You know, we've been supporters, members of organizations have been back and forth, and it pains me every time I see the Johnsons because of the fact that I know that, you know, they have a sense of determination. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, unfortunately, it's only so far you can go. To me, I think that these folks are playing with them, and it's unfortunate. I think that they're being tortured. I think there's been so many lies. I think they exhumed his body, I believe, twice already. You know, so it's a very touchy case to me. So I look at it like, man, you know, having children, not being able to fathom sending my child to school and him never coming back, and you telling me some cockamamie story like he dropped his shoe in the mat and got stuck in the mat. This young man was an athlete, you know, for one. Number two, one of the things that a lot of folks aren't hearing is that the camera footage, it shows him going inside of the gym and never coming out. And then there's this space within the camera where, you know, no one knows what happened. The camera mysteriously malfunctioned until the next day when they discover his body. You know, so you know, it's a disgusting case. But you know, we realize that and recognize that we're in the state of Georgia. You know, and Georgia is a traditionally racist part of this American pie. It's a racist piece of this American pie. And if you look at all the cases from Katherine Johnson, the 92-year-old who was gunned down here in Atlanta in her own home. If you look at the case of the young man who was jogging back in February in Brunswick, Georgia, I think that's his name. Yeah, Ahmad. Yeah, I mean, it's so many different, you know, situations. But my heart goes out to the Johnsons because of the fact that they're truly fighters. But I think that what these people are doing is putting brown sugar on feces and calling it chocolate. And they're trying to just, you know, have us keep hope alive. You know, but at some point, there has to be some type of consequences and repercussions that go beyond hoping and wishing and praying that they may decide to roll the dice and choose which one of their folks they want to throw under the bus.
Fellas, I wish we had more time to explore more of these issues with you. I'd love to have you back. But before you go, please tell everybody how they can support your program, because it is, I listen to it, and it is definitely worth subscribing to and supporting. How can they find your work?
Sure. Our work is blackpowermedia.org. And, you know, we have started a media company with Jared Ball, Sharice Burton-Stelly, the Lukemans, and some other folks to bring a media channel that's firmly ensconced in self-determination politics. So the YouTube channel is Black Power Media, and all our different shows are there for people to listen to and to watch.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Kamau Franklin, Kalonji Changa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys.
And tell Professor Ball I said, what's up? I mix what I like. I love his work too. I love you guys working together.
We had him on, and that was lovely. You guys are all, now I can see the connection now. No, two dope brothers. We appreciate y'all, and we'd love to have you back anytime. Thanks so much.
Hey, we appreciate you. It's good to see you a little calm today. Last time we saw you, you was about to rip it up, man.
What are you talking about, man? He's like, I'm always calm. Until
conservative.
You know what I mean? I said, you know, I don't have my hoodie on today. That's what it is. I got on my, I don't know what jacket this is instead of my hoodie. But nah, man, y'all put me in that room with that. Listen, man, I can handle conversations with my revolutionary brothers who are further revolutionary than me, to the left of me. What I can't handle are these cats to the right of me who say we need more capitalism, we need more Donald Trump, and we need that. That's stuff that set me off. So y'all put me in the lion's den, and I had to react accordingly. So y'all go, if you don't watch anything else, go watch that episode because it was kind of live. And my shout out to our sister Noah Changa who was on that episode with us. That was really dope.
Shout out to Noah.
Yeah. All right, fellas. James, Rebecca, what you got? I know we're over time already. You want to hit a couple of those videos? What you want to do?
Oh yeah, let's make sure we.
She like 80 feet. She 80 feet away from her camera.
Let's make sure we
I'm
get
back
the
now.
such done.
What happened to your light?
Every time this thing goes off, it's like it's telling me it's time to go. I always unplug it because I think we're gonna be at a good amount of time, and it actually is just like it's set for 2 hours. I feel like
I just don't understand why you don't have it. Like anyway, we'll figure that out. We'll figure out why your camera don't.
Because
stay
it's
on.
near my stove. When I cook, I unplug it. So
Are you cooking around these expensive ass cameras?
No, I put them away. That's why it was unplugged. So I put them away, and I have to reset them.
You finish,
right,
yeah.
That's what she was doing.
Hey, before we get out here, let's do a couple of Black joy stories, man, because you know the weight of those other stories really do it brings me down. Even though we gotta cover it, we gotta do it because we wouldn't be doing our job if not. But that don't mean we can't have a little bit of joy before we get out of here. What you got, Rebecca?
What do I have? There were I'm going to use the ones that we have here. They've been saying here. So look, Dwayne, just go ahead and roll them.
What you got? What you got? We'll respond. Surprises. There you go.
Right.
Are you smart?
Yes.
Oh.
Where is Africa?
Africa?
Yes.
At work.
At work? At work?
Yeah.
That's where Africa is?
Yeah.
The continent?
Yes.
But breathe. You know what? Good job. Good job.
She said, and let me tell you something. She didn't get it wrong either.
Because her friend must be called Africa. She got a friend. She got a family.
Africa is really,
Yeah.
I mean, at
Putting
work.
in all the
been
work.
at work, been doing work, always work. Working through our bloodstream. Africa is at work, and the white folks be mad about it.
I mean, they don't just be bad about it; they come and take it, right?
They come. Right. I
gotta. Just for the culture, I gotta play that Nigel Farage clip again because she's speaking truth right here. Wait, first of all, wait. Shout out to the young man. I think his name. What was his name? Laurent Hines, or his last name is Hines. He's from my hometown, Brookhaven, Mississippi. So shout out to him. He's blowing up all over the place on TikTok and everything. But Lil Sis is right. Africa been at work on behalf of all these colonizers who've been pillaging Africa for centuries. And just because you weren't here when we did it, run that clip of Nigel Farage talking about how nobody's done more for people of color than the British Crown.
Because I wasn't here for it. Let me see that.
The Queen and the royal family have spent the last 70 years touring round the Commonwealth. The vast majority of those people are black and Asian. I would put it to you, nobody in the world in history has done more for people of color than the British royal family. I'm disgusted, the British people are disgusted, and by a majority of 2-1, opinion polls now say we want them stripped of their titles.
So Rebecca, nobody's done more for people of color around the globe than the British Crown.
And I heard you say something, and this is going to be on Mary Had a Little Lamb. No, nobody has done more to the people, and it's been bad things. And it's funny that these people keep coming out and speaking out. It just gives me it gives me big colonizer vibes. It does. It's like I just picture them marching somewhere and getting
taking
ready
their
to
diseases.
bringing their nasty diseases over while people have been trying to come take our food recipes, make it saltless, taking our music and
shaking it with no ass,
and the blues, giving us just sad songs. I just,
How we go from a colonial colonization critique to
because all of that is colonization. When they go into neighborhoods that are perfectly black and thriving,
and gentrified.
and just have a white woman jogging down the street.
Listen,
that
is the
white
listen,
woman
ain't
complaining
nobody
about
braver.
the corner store. She complains about, she's the only person complaining about the corner store, and now the corner store that has been essential to your family for years is gone.
See,
it just gives me those vibes.
They used to colonize us by sending, their ships out and their navy out, and Christopher Columbus. Your community. I don't even know if we should call it gentrification anymore. It's such a. I understand the word.
It's a gentrified word.
It's a gentrified word. They colonize in the hood. They are colonizing the hood. And the way you know your block is getting ready to be colonized is because Karen is coming through running.
And then her ponytail was swinging. And she's like, you accidentally, but I jog too. So when I'm jogging, they be acting like I'm in the wrong neighborhood. But now, I live in this predominantly white area, and
they mad.
They mad. They hate
mad because we've been coming in and we've been, gentrification is a response to
I'm about to take this area back. It look like it used to be real black out here. We about to take it back. I'm inviting all people to come move out here.
That area ain't never been black. It's always been white. That's what they do. Never mind.
If I move a little bit further down, if I go 5 minutes down the other side of the street, I'm like, dang, this is where the culture's at. It's a lot of
you got to cross MLK Boulevard, and then or the railroad tracks, right?
It's really like that. There is railroads, and once you cross the railroads, it gets different. And like we used to say at FAMU, across the tracks. Because we know it's two different worlds, literally across.
Listen, I live when I
really
moved,
is.
When I moved to Atlanta, I had never, because I came from Boston to Atlanta. Boston is like 3% black, and Atlanta is like 97% black. And so I came out to this little neighborhood that we've been in, and all I saw were black families, like black dads and their kids out in this beautiful neighborhood. And I'm like, wow, I'm at home. About 9 months later, I went in the grocery store. And I saw I saw white people for the first time in 9 months. And I was like, what the hell? I realized that there really is something to people coming to infiltrate your community. I'm like, as soon as I saw Karen, I'm like, y'all about to start gentrifying our neighborhood. Y'all about to start recolonizing our neighborhood. We perfectly fine out here. We ain't even nowhere close near the city. We out here got our own little suburb of blackness. And here come Karen running through our neighborhood. So
and it's funny.
It might be time for me to go.
Yeah, maybe I'm over here colonizing their stuff. But
come on, listen, colonizer.
I will be that. I go to the Target and I ask them for black products. So much so that I think since the first time I came here, I asked them for black products. She was like, maybe you should try the one in Marietta. I said I want it here.
Did she try to send you to Marietta?
Yes, because it's more cultural there. But let me tell you something. Within this year, that particular product is now stocked at this Target, right?
Yeah.
Because
I got security locks on it.
I come all the time and I ask them, do you have this product? Why don't you have this product? They never have an excuse as to why. So finally, they brought it in. And I remember pulling up another black girl next to me. We looking in the aisle. She was like, girl, finally they got it. I was like, I know, right? And it's like...
Then they put the security locks on it. They put the security locks on it.
No. They don't put security. More. They don't put... See, where I live in this predominantly white area,
colonized area.
They won't put no locks on nada, nothing.
Oh.
We even can take the carts
so
back
we can liberate some
apartment.
Stuff over there.
Yes, and you literally, seriously, it's like everything is just free. I'm like, I'm not used to that because when I do go over to Marietta, the stuff that has, the stuff that we use, black people use, it be the one that's locked up. I don't know if you saw that viral picture going around about the Jergens. I don't use Jergens anymore, but I don't know if you saw the picture of the Jergens lotions. And the Jergens lotion with the extra moisture that black folks use is the ones that are locked up. The regular Jergens or the cherry blossom one, it was
Vaseline locked up.
Yeah, it was stocked because the white folks used that one. So it was stocked and there was no alarms on it. It wasn't locked up. Pregnancy tests are locked up. All the things are locked up.
Let me tell you.
Condoms.
Yeah, condoms.
Let me tell you, like the number one thing that you could find at like go to Walmart in a suburb, right? In these white neighborhoods and look at the price of anything. Then go look at the exact other product in like Fulton County, right? Black side of town. They are charging us hood taxes.
Black tax, yes.
Black taxes. They're marking up the price. And I asked them, because you know me, when I see this, I call and I say, hey, what's up with this? They say, we have to charge more for security. Like, really, Walmart? Really, that's how we're doing it? And that's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do.
Wow.
All right, one more video before we go, because I know y'all got to go. Whatever else you got in the tank, Dwayne, let's run another one.
Hey, government. Hey, black citizen. I'd like to trade my ancestors' slave card. I was looking to get 40 acres in a mule. If not a mule, I'll take a Toyota Camry. Y'all still mad about the slave thing? Plus, this card is old. It's not even in the best condition. And whose fault is that? Best I could do is maybe another black president. When? I've been dealing with a headache for the past 4 years, so you got to give me at least 2 terms. All right, but he's got to be full black this time. How about his mom is black and his dad is Canadian? Kind of like Drake. Man, nobody want Drake as president. It's better than Kanye West. You right. All right, fine. Next. Hey, government. Hey, student. You still switching majors? Mm-hmm. You know I might have a job for you when you finish school. You lying. You right. What can I do for you? Can I speak to student loans?
You lying. You right.
He said he's not here right now. I can see him. Hey, man, I was just looking for you. You got my money? No, it's a pandemic. I'm here to ask for my money back. Whoa, don't say his name in vain like that. You in here cussing.
This is making me sad because it's too real.
It's for real, for real.
It's too real, child. Listen.
It was too real. It's not even funny, but it was funny. It was
funny because it's like, we can laugh at it, but then it's like, dang, that's real. That's real. Listen, government, student loans, they just attacking everybody. Okay. And first, black folks, but we can't get nothing. We have to always lower our standards, bring our bar lower. For anything that we ask, we have to take what they're giving us. And that's what that shows us. No matter what, this is it. That's what it is. And I'm tired of doing that. Benjamin Dixon, okay, Bubba Jakes. I am tired of doing that. I'm tired. I'm tired of doing it at the job.
Yes.
I'm tired of doing it in these media spaces. That's why I don't want to work for people. I don't want to work for corporate because it will take my voice and minimize it. It will put me in a box. I have to do what they tell me to do. So that's why I'm like, listen, get on Patreon right now. Drop some super chats so that you can so that we can keep doing this, right? Because I don't want to keep watering myself down for $1. I don't want to keep watering myself down for a stimulus check. I don't want to be begging. I want us free. I want us to have free communities that the police officers and white folks and the feds won't come and bomb. I want that space for us in media. I do. And that's that.
And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb.
That's on Mary
Follow
Had a Little
Rebecca
Lamb.
on Instagram, Twitter, and everywhere else at Rebecca Azor. That's R-E.
No, well, it's not the same on Instagram, but on Twitter, I'll just give you guys my Twitter. It's Rebecca Azor, my first and last name, REBECCA AZOR. And I love you guys. And send me some love. Send me some love, and I'll send it right back to you guys. And I hope that you guys have an amazing day. And tomorrow is Friday, so tune in.
Gotta get James, can we be extremely really ratchet and go back and get Rebecca Black Friday, and mix it in with something? Can you?
I can do that.
Maybe not
tomorrow.
Maybe not.
Show? Yeah.
Maybe not. I'm feeling nostalgic.
Friday.
It was the first viral song.
I was going to say one of the first viral songs.
It was one of the first
viral songs. Yeah.
See if you could do anything with it, though. It is horrible.
Mix it with Hot Up by the Bed.
Yeah, something.
Because that was the first viral dance. So.
Yeah.
Well, y'all know where to find me. Y'all find all of us here tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time till 10:30-ish. Apparently, we're going a little bit longer. If y'all want that full third hour, though, patreon.com/the BPD show.
Patreon.com.
Third hour would be full of live callers. James, it's your work, man.
Also, before you go, James, sponsors, if you guys are watching, if people are interested, because all you guys come on here and you guys love it, especially the white folks with money. When you come on the show, spread the news, spread the name. We do for you, you do for us. You scratch my back, okay? You squash my back. I love you guys. Mean it. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take it away, James.
And of course, y'all can follow me, DJ X3C, on everything, every platform. DJ X3C, y'all. Get y'all one good song, and then it's off to corporate America. We go. Hope y'all enjoyed the show this morning, y'all. Shout out to everybody that joined us. It was definitely an amazing show today, and we appreciate all of y'all. Make sure that y'all hit that like button before you leave out the building today. Make sure that you share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and no one like it or not is going down. Again, patreon.com/the BPD show. Patreon.com/the BPD show.
I got a thing about you. You got a thing about me too. But you keep playing with
RDA, son of a bet. We appreciate that super chat. Thank you.
I got a thing about you. We got a thing for each other. So don't go wasting what you feeling. Don't be done, be done, be done.
Right, Pixie.
Sorry is a word to you when you don't show on time, when you go out of line. Yeah. Sorry is a word of truth. It isn't always enough. Sometimes you gotta hide. You've been up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I pull up to the club looking fresh always.
Goodbye, mother. Love you too.
No way, gonna keep riding like it's my damn day. I'ma do right. I'ma do it my way. I got the swag. I got the bills. I got the thoughts online. And look to kill.
Pull up to the crib and it's fresh always. Bitches try to steal my shit, no way. Holding down the floor cause I'm here to say ain't no one mess with me on bitch, they ain't getting paid. I got that swag, I got the bills, I got the thoughts online, and look to kill.
I got the money, I got the ice on me, I got that good, come get this honey, I got the money, I got the ice on me, I got that good.
All right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up for your boy James Bubba Williams, better known as DJ Exclusive, y'all. It's time to go make the chicken. So love y'all, man. We'll definitely see y'all in the morning, man. Thank you so much for the support, the love. Make sure that you go follow all of us on all the platforms, and make sure that you follow Like It or Not on IG. Yes, Like It or Not is on IG, so make sure that you follow. Also, make sure that you join the Patreon account, patreon.com/the BPD show, patreon.com/the BPD show. All right, so that is going to do it for us today on Like It or Not. Make sure that y'all tune in the morning when we have a couple of other guests coming on, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure that you stay tuned. Like It or Not, DJ Exclusive out. Mwah. Love y'all.